take a deep breath. Woohoo! Kind of give that body a little wiggle. And then you can get ready, John. Excellent wiggling, thank you. That was good. Then go ahead and take a deep breath and kind of put your attention inward. And we're going to start how we do every week. We're going to start by grounding. And that's making an energy connection from the spine to the very center of the earth. And grounding that body. When you connect those 2 points, the base of your spine and the center of the earth, expand it so it's as big around as your hips. And just let that body relax into that grounding cord. And breathe. And then take like 3 deep breaths. Just letting the body relax. And turning your attention inward. When you breathe deep like that, it lets the body know you're going inward. And you're turning off the world around you so you can get quiet and listen to your own truth. And that's a great place to be. Now tonight we're going to talk about manifesting and our creativity. And manifesting is one of the easiest abilities you have. If you just take a minute and think about everything you have in your life, your job, your apartment, your career, everything, you've manifested it. Whether you bought it or a friend gave it to you, you still manifest it, you call it in. And all of that starts in your imagination. And that ability to think and imagine and hope for, want something, and call it back to yourself. So that part of manifesting starts with that desire. And you start to materialize it and call it back from the ethers in the astral plane into physical form. And it's something that you're manifesting by bringing into existence something you didn't have before. And we do it all the time. You get in a mood one day and you're like, oh, I really want a pizza. And, pretty soon you find yourself eating one. And it's like, it's quick. It's right there. So it isn't hard, whether it's a parking space, just having a good day, like, oh, you wake up, this is going to be a great day. And you let yourself get into it. And sure enough, you start to manifest all these positive things that happen in your life. And to me, manifesting is much more than just like money or physical substance. It's love, it's money, it's health, it's living open-heartedly. It's really loving your life, living your passion. And so instead of just going through the motions or getting stuck in front of the TV, which to me is kind of like going numb, it's really living and enjoying and being in the moment and really loving what you're doing. So as you begin to create, if you look at children, they both create and they destroy. So they'll build a tower of blocks, they'll knock it down. They'll make something out of Play-Doh, they'll smash it and do it again. They'll dress and undress a doll. continuously. So it's creating and destroying. There's two ends to everything. And so letting yourself have both of those abilities. Most of us are really good at creating, not so good at destroying. But if you think about it, you have to let go as well as create. If you had all your school papers from kindergarten, they might call you a hoarder because you'd have them stacked to the ceiling. So being able to let go of things that no longer serve you is just as important as creating. And sometimes when you're finished with something, really bless it, honor it, give it away. I loved at the center, we always had a free box, and anybody had clothes, had things from their house that they were ready to pass on. They put it in the free box, and everybody had a chance to go through that and take whatever they needed or wanted. And I think that's a great thing to consciously share. So when you're looking at that space of creating, really looking at your ability to both receive it and to give it away, because it takes both. So take a deep breath again. And I want you to look at the word with your eyes shut, the word imagination. And what does that mean to you? Imagination. It's one of our best gifts. And it's here that we keep our dreams and we run through everything we want or don't want. So everything in our life was once in our imagination. And when you look at imagination, it's that a world of possibility. What could happen? Whether it's going to fly around the world and see different countries, whether it's wanting to get schooling, more schooling, a better job, a partner, whatever it is, it's really that ability to start to really look and say, what is it? What is it exactly that I want? How do I want to learn? What do I want my result to be? When you put your attention on it, then you start to create it and draw it in. And you're bringing together your ability to manifest with your imagination. So just for a minute, think about what it really is, something that you really want. Just putting your attention on it. And imagine all the details of it, the colors, the feelings, your interaction with this thing, really visualizing it and drawing it to you. Getting all the details so that you can manifest it. And then there's a place in your stomach around that area, your solar plexus. And this holds some of the energy of things you wanted to manifest as a kid, but maybe you didn't bring them into reality. Like the pony. If you wanted a pony, but you never got one, that picture or that concept might still be there. It's not too late, but you might decide you don't want the pony now. So putting a big bubble in front of that solar plex area with a magnet and just pulling out any of those concepts that didn't manifest as a child. Don't even have to know what they are. It's just the energy. And then popping that bubble, letting it go. So whatever was in it just is released. And giving yourself permission to create again. It's like, okay, maybe you didn't have as much permission. It's a little harder to manifest a pony when you live in the city or in an apartment, or with maybe you're just with your mom or your dad. A little harder. But as an adult, you have a better shot at it. And it may not be that pony. The other part of it to me is living open-heartedly. The more you can embrace the world and yourself, the easier it is to magnetize something into you. So just for a minute, we're going to experiment. I want you to kind of open that heart. Just imagine opening your heart, letting it vibrate, and just putting it on your receiving space, your ability to let things come in to you. It's like, okay, whatever's yours that you need to grow from, let it come in and just make room to receive it for a minute. And breathe. Maybe put your favorite color in that heart. And just check in on it. How big is that space? If it's a little tiny jar, it may not have enough room for all the things that you want. Maybe you need a much bigger container. So energetically, making a lot of room in there. You have enough space to form a whole universe inside you. One of my favorite things from physics is we think of a chair as solid, like, wooden legs. They like feel dense and solid, but the molecules are very random in wood. So it's like, wow, I love that picture of something that we think of as, so concrete, so solid, is really randomly arranged molecules. So it's interesting. Sometimes when we're thinking of something, we think of it as a big thing because we try and hold that room, the space we think it needs to manifest. And hey, sometimes we're just way off because physics has its own set of rules. So letting that heart be open and just letting that, like the sense of waves coming to a shore, just allowing yourself to receive. And I like to ask for whatever is mine by divine right, under the law of grace, to come to me now. I don't even have to know what it is. It's like, hey, whatever is mine that's right for my next step, come on in. And this to me is the most fun thing about meditating, is when you can take 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever you have. Energy isn't fussy. But when you can meditate, you slow down the outside world and you go inward. And this is where the real journey is inside you. So really looking and seeing, what is it that is the most important thing to me in my life? And as you put your attention on that, you can't help but create it. So it's really interesting to watch people create all the time. And take a deep breath. And try on different kinds of energy and see how it feels. Sometimes we get in a job and, we like it for a couple of years, and then it's like, well, I think I'm through. I learned all I can from that particular job. It's time to move on. And there's nothing wrong with that as well. So giving yourself that space to recognize, just because you created it and you loved it doesn't mean that you have to stay there forever. Once you've figured it out, it may be time to move on to the next thing. And so giving yourself that space to be able to do that. Once you kind of have your idea of what it is that you want, then it's really looking at some of the physical things that manifest it. So obviously, if it's a job, looking in the want ads or on Craigslist, putting applications out. So it's helping the physical, helps the spiritual come into reality and land. And again, it's really fun to do. It's a fun game to play. And I would say start with something simple and then add on to it. So say you want a nice dinner, and you really kind of get a sense of what you'd like to have. And then where can you find it? And putting it out there, and it's like, okay, not only do I want this nice dinner, but I'd like someone to go with me. And maybe they're going to treat me. That'd be nice. So it's allowing for those occurrences to happen. I know I had a car I outgrew in my, late 20s, 30. And I was going to buy another car. And so I gave it to a friend who didn't have a car. And he used it for a couple of years. And he died, and he passed it on. And it was so fun to see how that car kept going. And it had a life of its own. It kind of went from person to person. It's a great thing to be able to share and to watch someone manifest. So that guy I gave it to got a free car. And, it was all paid off. He had to put gas in it, but that was it. So for him, he didn't know I was going to give him a free car, but he needed a car. And I had to do something with this car because I had a new one. So it was his mock-up. And those things can happen. Now, do you get a free car every day? No, not really. But his intention and his need pulled that in. So things connect. And sometimes it takes a little bit for all of the abilities or things that you have to do to create it to come together. So the circumstances have to be right. I had to buy my second car before I could let go of my first one. So in that sense, there was a matter of timing. So have a little fun when you start to want to manifest and see what comes. Start with something simple and then work up to something that's maybe a little bit bigger, a little bit more exciting. The other thing that I think is the easiest to see is, again, in children, they're in no effort. They're not trying. They're just playing. And as adults, we tend to get serious. Have you noticed? Man, are we serious? So it's so much harder to manifest something if you're serious because it's a lower vibration. So if you're having more fun, if you're really playing with something, those are the things that come the fastest. Something you're really serious about or you have a lot of heavy energy in takes a little bit longer to manifest. So having or coming from a place of no effort is a great way to bring it in. And you can kind of look at, say you want that car. We'll just do a car. You can put up a little gauge, 0 to 100. How much space do you have to actually get a car? Maybe it's 75. And you're like, okay, what's sitting on that 75 to 100? what is that energy on top of it? What's holding it down or getting in the way? And it could be your belief that you deserve it. It could be, I'm never going to find something for this price. There could be many different things that want to hold it down. At one point, my husband and I were looking for a house, and I said, I want a house for $300,000 in like a $700,000 neighborhood. And we found it. It had a water rights issue. And my husband was able to fix that, and we got the house. So it's interesting. And even though that was an impossible mock-up, it happened. So it's really playing with energy and then finding that exact thing that manifests. So looking at any energy that keeps it, invalidates what you want to create, or has that heaviness, anything that won't let you have your mock-up. Because there's fact and then there's fantasy. And I guess to me, fantasy would be, I want to win the lotto. And a lot of people say that. Now somebody does win, but the odds are certainly set against you. So you're better off going for the car than the lotto, because it's harder. It's more of a fantasy than a real fact. So it's like balancing what is real and how can you have that happen. As a being, as a spirit, we're all about creativity. That's our mainstay. So we're constantly creating. And you know, when you create a new job, it's like, I really want to have good friends at this job. I'm tired of feeling like I don't fit. So I want a place where what I do is honored. They see who I am. They honor me for what I contribute. And that's a really nice step to have, because it makes the job so much more fun. So having people that can have you, having, great coworkers that you can make friends, and might as well make friends for a long time. Then you want the salary and the vacation. So when you put the whole thing together, it's a lot more than just a salary. It's really being accepted for who you are and what you contribute. That's a bigger place. That's not always rewarded maybe physically with money, but boy, it is in life experience. If you're going to be there 8 hours a day, I hope you're having a good time, making the best of it. You're not, DD? Okay, you better change that mock-up. Got some fine details to do. Yeah. So that's where it gets really fun to go, okay, I've got everything but one thing. All right, next time I'm going to do this, so that all those puzzle pieces come together. And that makes it really worthwhile. So anything you create starts out as an idea. It starts out as an energy form, and it's brought through like a committee. It's passed through each of the chakras as you create. And so by the time it's going through the chakras, it's like going to 7 different committees and having them check out, anything that limits you or sabotages your work. It gives you a message or a picture about what you're looking at. And you can take out any negative thought forms. And we'll do this with energies. So think of the one thing and just pick one. You can do this again. Just pick one thing that you want to manifest tonight. And we're going to walk it through the committee. And the first committee is the crown chakra, the 7th chakra. It's at the top of your head. And this is about trust and certainty. So look at your ability to trust that this is your mock-up, your creation. How much certainty do you have that you can have this, whatever it is you want? And I want that up in the high 90s. If you're down in the 30s, you're not going to get it. So you got to really decide, am I committed to this? Is this something I really want for life? And letting yourself put your awareness there. So owning it, really trusting that this is the step for you and having your certainty. And so put out in front of you in a little bubble, anything that would invalidate your trust and your certainty. Let's get rid of it. Don't even have to know what it is. It can be just a color. Blow it up. And then just say to yourself, I own this. This is my creation. Okay, you just got passed by the first committee. Let's take it down to the sixth chakra. That's in the brow. That's your ability to see and have clarity and really look at your mock-up, what you want to create. And again, ask yourself, what is your clarity on it? What are the details? When do you want it? How do you want it? What is it going to look like, feel like? How are you going to feel when you have it? Get that clarity in there. And again, just very gently create a soap bubble, put a little magnet in it, and anything that gets in the way of your clarity of this mock-up, let it go in that bubble and just pop it. Just letting it go. Pass the second committee. Let's go to the throat chakra, the fifth chakra. This is about asking for what you want. And sometimes this one hangs us up. Can you ask for it? Hey, this is what I need. Here's my next step. So taking out any energy that makes it hard for you to ask. And see what percentage of you can ask. See if you can't put that gauge up to the 90s. Again, look at little kids. They have no problem asking. They just run on certainty. It's such a hoot to watch them. So give yourself permission to ask for what you need, what you want, what your dream is. And put a little soap bubble out in front of you again with a magnet and pull out any energy that makes it hard for you to ask. Pop it. You pass that committee. Now we get down to the heart. Going down to the fourth chakra, the heart center. And this is, I deserve it. It's like, hey, everybody gets to have their dream. We each get to have our wants and our needs met. So just saying hello to that ability to deserve it. You don't even have to do anything to deserve it. You just have to know that you deserve it. It's yours. So again, look at that ability to just get to have it, to deserve it, to let it come to you. And as you open that heart chakra up, you can let that energy flow in there. I deserve a new car. I deserve a great job. I deserve a new friend, whatever it is. And again, you can put that little soap bubble with a magnet and pull out any energy that says you don't deserve it. Why should you get it? Why not? Somebody's got to, might as well be you. So just pulling that energy out into that bubble and popping it. And before we move down, just own it for one more minute. This is mine. I can have this. Then we'll come down to that third chakra, those solar plexus. And this also plays a part in receiving it. Really allowing it to come to you. Using your energy, your power, to call it in. So in that third chakra, you could say, I can have it. Woohoo! And just notice, as you get clearer and clearer, there's more space for whatever it is you want to create to come to you. Because once you just know you deserve it, then it's easier to have it. And just letting yourself let that energy flow through the third chakra. Having that desire. Again, you can put up a bubble with a magnet and pull out any energy that says, oh, you can't have that. No way. It's like, oh, yes, I can. Just have a little fun with it. Pop that bubble. You made it through another committee. Then we'll go down to the second chakra, 2 fingers below the navel. Those are your feelings. Excellent. And tune into it. How are you going to feel once you get it? How does it feel to know this is really going to manifest and come true for you? How does that feel in your body? And giving yourself that room to tune into it. And take a deep breath. And again, look at anything that holds back your feeling. You put a little soap bubble out there with that magnet, pull it out. Like, this is getting easier. It's getting lighter as you go through those committees. Less invalidation. Pop that bubble and let yourself feel the excitement of really having it. This to me is like standing in gratitude. It's like, wow, it's on its way. This is awesome. And that last one is the first chakra, right at the base of the spine. And this is no fear. No fear of having this change. It's kind of like in life, you got to pick one side or the other, fear or love. Which one is a little bit more real for you? And so really releasing from that first chakra any fear about having what you want or what you need. Just let it go. Letting yourself have your creations. Knowing that you're safe, you'll take care of yourself, and this is a step on your path. And again, you can take that soap bubble in front of you and put it out there with a little magnet, pull out anything that keeps that body in fear. Blow it up and really own that first chakra. Woohoo, you pass through the committee of 7. Take a little tuning fork, an imaginary one, and tune that crown chakra. Let all the other chakras match your crown so that that agreement you have for this mock-up is set at your certainty and your trust. And just owning it for yourself. It's not hard. Put a little amusement in there. Like, I don't know why I thought this was going to be hard. You have to be a tiny bit amused so you can let go of any serious energy. Putting a little gratitude in there, being grateful that what you wish for is on its way. And then looking one last time at that receiving space. My analogy of this would be kind of like a landing strip, and the plane or the mock-up is coming towards you. Well, if you have a semi on the landing strip, the plane can't get to you. So it's moving everything off your landing strip and letting that energy flow to your body. So all the pieces are set in motion. And this is the last one is the most important of all. Take that dream or that mock-up of yours and put it in a boomerang. Just put the energy inside that boomerang and throw it as hard as you can out to the edge of the universe. Let it manifest and come back to you so that you can let it go. It's kind of like when you order breakfast, you got to let it go so they can bring it to you. And then it's done. Your work is done. And you sit back and enjoy it until it comes to you. And sometimes what that means is in that relaxing and waiting for it to come, you have to change your identity. Who are you with this thing and who are you without it? Can you love yourself? Can you give up the idea of having to be poor or having to work hard for something? And the more you practice, the easier it gets. How do you hold yourself? How do you view yourself? Do you see yourself as really creative, really capable of drawing in that which you want? And if you don't, you might start there. What picture or what concept can you change to give yourself this richness? Sometimes in life, we kind of get frozen in energy from childhood, from different life experiences. And you can think of it as underneath that is all this creativity, because we're creative spirits. So it's like, oh, as I move out that numbness or that frozen energy, I'm going to find this whole new discovery of creativity. And who am I going to be with all this creativity? This is going to be fun to see. So you start to find a different way of viewing it. And you look at this as your creative space. You can clean out anything that doesn't work in it, anything that stops the flow, anything that negates it, and change it into a positive. Some of us didn't have permission to create growing up. Some of us might have had permission when we were little, but we don't have as much now. And look at anything that got you serious. Being able to call that out. It's like, oh, I'm ending the serious period of my life. And I'm moving into more joy, more really deep living. You're changing your concept of who you are and how you see yourself. And again, make room for that so that when you think of your creativity or your manifesting space, it's this large space. You have a lot of room in there. And you can change any concept that invalidates it or slows it down. And take a deep breath. And I think when you're at this level, your trust in that this will come back to you is in yourself. Instead of putting your trust in someone else, see if you can't center it in you. I trust myself as a spirit to manifest what I need. To me, we're co-creators with Source, however you see that energy. And so not giving your power over to someone, anyone, but being able to create what you need for you. And when we take responsibility, it's a really interesting thing for our own creations. Responsibility is nothing but the ability to respond. How you respond is up to you. So if you've been responding out of blame, you're blaming someone else because you can't have it, hey, you got to change that thinking. So you start to be the creator and you trust your own ability to draw that to you. And that's an awesome space to sit. Our job is to clean out the old stuff that has stopped us in the past and really be in this moment and in present time. Because right here in the moment is where you can create it. So next week, we're going to do part 2 of this same thing. And it'll be interesting to see how many mock-ups have come back from that first week. And you might not have set yours at wanting it in a week, but we'll see if some of them have, if they've come in. So it's kind of fun to play with, being able to create an idea, go through and clean it all out, put it in a boomerang, send it out in the world and have it come back to you. And just see how exactly it looks when it comes back to you. All right, take a deep breath. And put a huge gold sun above your head, twice as big as the body. And right above your crown, 3 inches, are 3 creative rings. And you don't have to know what they look like, just vibrate them. And fill that huge gold sun full of that energy. It's brand new, pure life force energy. And just decide you want all the magic. Just put all that light, all that energy in that gold sun and pop it. Let it flow in, filling you from head to toe. Filling first the whole inside of your brain and your head. Going down the spine, in through all of the organs, the muscles, the bones, through your torso, all the way down into your legs, down into the feet and the toes, down the arms into the hands, out the fingertips, and then out in the aura around you, that energy field around you. Just owning that awareness and really being grateful for who you are. What a beautiful spirit you are. And You have to learn to really love yourself in order to do this kind of work. It makes it so much more fun. So just decide tonight, what the heck, that you're one of the sweetest little spirits on planet Earth. One of God's favorites, right here. Nobody sweeter. And give it to yourself. Give yourself that love. Let that body smile. Decide you're going to have a good time. And just let that flow all the way around in your aura. No matter how crazy the world gets, you have this sanctuary, this space inside yourself that you can come back to. What a great place to be. And all it takes is closing your eyes and going in that light meditation, and there you are. There's the magic. All right. I wish you well this week. I hope you have a great time. And I'll see you, and we'll do part 2 next week. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.